My son, do not eat popcorn before you shoot a video or make a podcast. Man, that's some wisdom. And it's interesting how often through chapter 1 through 10 or 1 through 9, you hear the words, my son. Solomon is telling his son some things. He keeps going after him, and he keeps telling him this one thing, basically, get wisdom. Hello, everybody. Mr. Brown here with day number 7 of our series, Get Wisdom. And today, we're going to focus on just the first part of chapter 7. Although in chapter 7, he continued to talk about adultery and a prostitute and keep telling his son to stay away from those things. And that is so important, to stay away from sexual morality we talked about last time. But the verse we chose today is actually Proverbs chapter 7, verse 2, which says this, keep my commandments and live. Keep my teaching as the apple of your eye. Proverbs 7:2. Now, if you read this at face value, you're thinking this is talking that God is speaking, but this is Solomon speaking to his son. I rewatched a video I really like by The Bible Project. Please check them out at thebibleproject.com. They do some amazing things with taking Bible, the books of the Bible and even themes and making animated drawings and teaching through media. It's pretty cool. Just check it out. Thebibleproject.com. I forget sometimes that people are actually listening to this through podcasts and not just watching it. If you haven't listened to the podcast, you can listen to it in your car as you drive. Just look for Proclaim Ministries teaching podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast. And I forget sometimes I'll talk visually and forget that there's people just listening. But after watching that video again, he broke out how the book of Proverbs set up. And the first 9 chapters are Solomon talking to his son, basically, and giving him wisdom. And in chapter 7, verse 1, it says, my son, keep my word, treasure up my commandments with you. Verse 2 is our verse for the day. Keep my commandments and live. Keep my teaching as the apple of your eye. He goes on, bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. So Solomon really wants his son to listen to what he has to say. And if I were to break it down, I would say, don't be hard-headed. My son, listen to me. And I think Solomon has some things to give his son for several reasons. Number one, he was a wise man that lived. He actually asked God for wisdom, and God made him the wisest man that ever lived. So he has some things to give his son. Number two, he has some experience. Solomon lived a life. And sometimes the younger we are, the more we know, we think we know everything. Think about that. I think it happened every generation. We know everything. And this generation, I feel sorry for them because they can Google everything, and that makes them think they know everything. They have access to so much stuff, and they're tempted not to listen to the people in their lives, their grandparents, their parents. And listen, young people. I said young people like I'm old. I guess I'm older now. Y'all who are younger than me, listen. I made some mistakes in life. And the main reason was I did not listen to my mother's teaching. I did not listen to my grandfather's teaching. I did not listen to someone who had some wisdom, who had some life behind them, some experience. I didn't listen to them. Therefore, I made the same mistakes they did. Now, some of you teenagers will accuse your parents of being hypocrites because they may have done something in the past, and now they're telling you not to do what they did, and you might say that's a hypocrite. I totally disagree with that. That is being wise. I did something wrong, therefore don't do what I did. Now, if your parents are doing things currently and they're telling you not to do them, that would be hypocritical, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. There's some things adults do that kids can't do yet because you're not in that season of life, okay? You can't drive a car yet. You're not in that season, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. My point is this from our verse today. He tells his son, this is so important. He says, I'm looking at it again. Don't forget, you can get this on Instagram. You can share this beautiful image that we made. Just check it out. But it says this, Proverbs chapter 2, verse 7, keep my commandments and live. Keep my teaching as the apple of your eye. He wants him to understand, if you listen to these principles, these short little sayings about life, and they'll help you to choose well and live well. Please, son, listen. I heard this saying before, I never forgot it. God gave us 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. Therefore, we should look and listen twice as much as we talk. But somehow we just keep talking. Listen. And he says, you will live. He said, listen, listen, son, I've made some mistakes and I think I've learned some things. Now listen to these things so you can have a different kind of life than I did. You can have a great life. You can live life to its fullest if you listen to me. And don't know if this doesn't in context, but he's really in chapter 7, he talks a lot about sex, staying away from this forbidden woman. He goes on and on and on and on because he understands this can lead you astray in a very bad way. So listen. But then the second part of the verse is keep it as the apple of your eye. Keep it the center, the focus of what you're thinking. Keep what I'm teaching you as your focal point. Keep this wisdom. And he tells him earlier to keep seeking wisdom, go after wisdom. Listen to what I'm saying, boy. I'm getting kind of excited because I didn't listen. And I pray that my son listened. Now, I was being silly when I started this video and said, son, don't eat popcorn before you shoot a podcast or video, because I was eating popcorn right before, and that wasn't very smart. And I'm starting to feel some of it come out right now. And that's a little truth saying, right? But there's much more deeper things that I want my son to learn. So listen, there's some people that God has placed in your life who want you to get some wisdom, who want you to understand some things about life. Would you listen? Would you stop talking just for a moment and listen? One of the things I teach kids when I go to public schools and do assemblies, I try to always mention this one. Always carry your invisible backpack. What's an invisible backpack? It's a backpack that's invisible. Yeah, that was pretty deep. But what it means is this, that always take what you get from other people and put it back there because you may need it one day. Not everybody, but your teachers, your parents, people who are saying things you need to listen to. You might not like it, might not understand it, but take it, put it in your invisible backpack, because one day if you take it with you, you can take it out and use it when you need it. And I wish I would have listened. I wished I would have been that son who would have took some wise advice at times. But now I'm at a place now where I'm still listening. I listen to older people. I listen to people who have had some experience, some things. I listen to them. But I look back over my life and I wish I'd have taken some time when I was younger to listen a little bit more. Get wisdom. That's what the series is all about. And Solomon wants his son to listen to his teachings and live. And I believe we need to listen to the Bible, but also those who God has placed in our life to help us have some wisdom, because they have some experience we don't have. So listen, get wisdom and listen. Continue to read the rest of this passage, Proverbs chapter 7. As I said every day, I want you not just to listen to what I have to say to one verse, but read the whole verse. And this one is deep. He goes into a lot. He's been talking about sex with his son, who to stay away from. It's pretty deep. But ultimately, we are doing the series, and we want you to be like Solomon's son. My son, listen. Keep these commandments. Keep them as the apple of your eye. My teaching, apple of your eye. So you can live, and you can live well when you get wisdom. Oh, yeah.